All right, calculus. We're just making a lot of videos today. Exercise point 1, exercise 0.1, page 7. It's going to be video 5 for this. Again, this is in your review unit packets. This is made 4 weeks in advance. I highly recommend that you get a, 3-ring binder, a lot of loose leaf paper, or you just get an extra massive notebook and just constantly rewrite these, absorb them. This is going to be a far different semester than ever before. We will have legitimate exams and quizzes no matter what. I'm in the process of making a few copies of each one, A, B, C versions, and anyway, have this down. You do have this well in advance. This is for one of your remote learning days, whether you're an A, B type of thing or for Friday. Anyway, have us down. Find all intercepts. So this is page 7 in your review unit packet. So X and Y intercepts. The y-intercept is staring right at you. When you plug 0 in for x, what do you get? You get 4. It's y equals 4. The x-intercept is when y is 0, so set that function equal to 0, and you get x equals -2. It factors nicely. Okay, we've got a rational function. You know we would. Y-intercept, pretty easy to get here. Let x be 0, so it's -1 over -4. You got a quarter. The x-intercept is when the function is 0. So again, you only set the numerator equal to 0 in a rational function. That's how a fraction is 0. 0 over 8. 8 over 0 is not 0, it's undefined. Set the numerator equal to 0, you get the x-intercept of a half. Y-intercept a quarter, x-intercept a half. So, we're going to keep going here. This one we're using the iPad and making videos with both. If I gotta make videos in class, we'll figure out. Probably use a tripod there. Anyway, a lot of videos coming your way. So again, exercise point 1, page 7. Find all zeros. Solve for x. These zeros are when you cross the x-intercepts, when y is 0. So set the function equal to 0 and factor it, as we can see there. All right. X equals 1, x equals 3. Quadratic form of time. First off, nothing multiplies 2 and adds to -4. So x equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. The opposite of b is 4, b squared minus 4ac. You guys got to be good at squaring. Again, there just can't be in calculus, oopsie, algebra 2 errors that were judged a little bit nicer in algebra 2 will be judged harshly. So if you square -4 and get -16 and say it's -24 inside the square root, that's a bad error. That's going to cost you. I am much nicer with partial credit than what they'll be at the college level, but that'll be a bad error. Okay, that's going to lose you a lot. So 72, don't focus on losing a lot, focus on getting everything right, being as precise as possible. We're going to factorize grouping. Anytime we have 4 terms, we should really look to do that. This is grouped really nicely for us. What can I take out of the first 2? X squared, leaving you with x plus 1. Always bring down that middle sign. You're going to factor out a -4, leaving you with x plus 1 again. Again, those 2 parentheses need to have the same 2 terms. Then the x squared minus 4 will go together. The x plus 1 will go together. Again, we did this in Honors Algebra 2 together. You get x plus minus 2x is -1. All right, let's find all points of intersection. Set those 2 equations equal to each other. X squared plus 4x minus 2. When is that going to be equal to 2x squared plus x? -6. I'm moving everything over to the side with the bigger x squared. 0 is x squared minus 3x minus 4. Multiplies 4, differs by 3. X minus 4, x plus 1. You get x equals -1 and x equals 4. Great. Because they intersect there, they have to have the same y value. So you could plug -1 in there. Plug it in there. You can plug x equals 4 there or there. You're going to get the same y value. Why? Because they're intersecting there. We made them equal. So when x is a -1, you get -5. When x is 4, you get 30. They intersect at those 2 points, those 2 parabolas. All right. Nice page there. Now, holy cow, we're moving on to, it says section 0.2, but I think it's, exercises 0.2. It's page 8 in that lovely review unit packet. Find all vertical asymptotes for number 15, number 20. It could add different directions. It could be like find all discontinuous points. Same thing here. Because you won't have a removable discontinuity. We'll talk about that in class. And you know what, folks? This comes from Honors Algebra 2. Okay, so you can't have the square root of 0, and you can't divide by 0. So set what's inside the square root equal to 0. That'll give you the 2, or I'm sorry, I did not. Let's rewind. You can have the square root of 0. Totally rewind. I hope nobody outside of Litchfield pause the video there. You can have the square root of 0. You can't divide by 0, though. So I want to figure out when the square root is 0. If I set x squared plus 4 equal to 0, I get x squared as a -4. So I get x is plus or minus 2i. Well, folks, that's imaginary. There is nothing, there's no real number, that is, that I can plug in for x that will give me 0 or a negative inside the square root. So there's no vertical asymptote. No discontinuous points. Same thing here. Set what's inside the... Okay, I'm looking for vertical asymptotes. So I'm looking for when I'm dividing by 0 in this case. Okay. I'm not asking about the domain. We can talk about what the domain will be here. Set x squared minus 4 equal to 0. X is 2, x is -2 means I divide by 0. So those are my 2 vertical asymptotes. I could talk about what the domain would be here. Notice if I plug in 0, then I get the square root of a -4, which is no bueno. So really anything from -infinity to -2, and from 2 to infinity, I could plug in for x. All I wanted was the vertical asymptotes, though. Set the denominator equal to 0. Same thing for number 20. I need a factor first, because we'll talk, on the first quiz it asks about, describe it as a vertical asymptote or a hole, a removable discontinuity. A hole, remember, holes can be canceled. Nothing canceled there, so set x minus 5 and x plus 3 equal to 0. X equals -3, x equals 5 are both vertical asymptotes. All right, moving on along here on page 8 in that review unit packet. Find the zeros of, another way of saying solve for x. I'm going to square both sides. When I square a square root, what's inside the square root just comes on down. Now be careful here. Square this plus the inner product is 2x squared. Double it, 4x squared. Square 2, I get 4. Then the 4's cancel. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Subtract the x squared. 0 is equal to x to the 4th plus 3x squared. Factor out the x squared they have in common, leaving you with x squared plus 3. Set this equal to 0. Set this equal to 0. You get x squared equals -3. And that's plus or minus I root 3. Now in the directions, it might say find the real roots, 0. If it says find all roots, you would include that as well. I forget what the directions say. All right, plus or minus I root 3, a non-real solution. And we are going to stop there. This next one will be new for everybody. All right, this is Yak Math Videos signing out.